off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit a buy, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over our Fanduel and Draftkings NBA slate for Monday, March 9th. It's a 3-game slate, so obviously not a whole lot to choose from. We're going to try to be unique and different when we make our lineups for tournaments, of course. So, yeah, we're going to go over all that. First things first, cheers to you all. Coffee and Bailey's morning for sure. Waking up watching my 401k turn into dust as the stock market freaks out, as everyone else freaks out. America, what are you going to do? People freak out over 20 deaths. My goodness. I mean, it's not good, but for Christ's sakes. But it is what it is. But thank you all for all your support. I truly do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit subscribe down below. Get access to all of our content. Fantasy Draft NBA videos already up. Of course, we're doing Fanduel Draftkings NBA. I will have XFL back this week. It was a tremendous weekend for me in XFL DFS. So we'll have those videos back this week. Last week was kind of a different week. Had some family stuff go on, and I appreciate all your patience and the well wishes and the kind words. Thank you all very, very much. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Oh, I already said that. I'm getting old, man. I do not like watching the 401k go down. Also, by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment in the comment section, you qualify for our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. That is sponsored by Draft Dashboard. We're going to announce our winner here in just a moment. Draft Dashboard's a tool. We can go over all the usage, stats, history versus opponent. You can set your exposures for the mass lineup generator and import your lineups into Fanduel Draftkings, the late swap optimizer, DVP, all that. The research really does save you time. You can get access to this tool, the lineup optimizer, and my player pool that I use for every sport simply by clicking that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. Our winner this week, let me announce it before I forget on this Monday morning. It's snowing outside too. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it is snowing outside, so I'm probably never going to get to play golf again. It's very frustrating. But our winner this week is Laron Doss. So congratulations to you. Hit me up in the Twitter sphere in the comment section down below. Let me know how to get that to you. We do that every single week. You qualify just by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Also, don't forget to check out Overlay DFS. We are getting just a ton of great stories. Everyone so far that I can think of who has given me feedback has really enjoyed the site. You pick head-to-head matchups. You go for the best record. If you go undefeated, you win the jackpot. It's a lot of fun. They have the Slump Buster bonus, so if you lose 20 times in a row in the same contest, they'll give you back all of your entry fees back for losing 20 times in a row. It's a lot of fun. Check out Overlay DFS. You can go to overlaydfs.com and download the app for Android users. Apple iTunes users, it is in the Apple iTunes store. And don't forget to comment with your fantasy draft username. We're going to be doing that drawing here in the next couple of days. Like I said, we didn't get to it last week just because had some unfortunate stuff happen last week. So that is that. So let's get to it. We got 3 games. Of course, even with 3 games, we can have a lot of news. There's an illness running around that Atlanta locker room. Trae Young just went through it. Now Jeff Teague is questionable with that illness, so we'll just have to see. You just never know. It's important this time of year with back-to-backs, with teams tanking, etc., to really pay attention to what's going on. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. I'll have everything that's of importance. I filter out a lot too. Like today, I'll probably get 400 notifications for tomorrow's injury report. I won't bother you with that until tomorrow, so you're welcome. There you go. So let's get started. At the top, we got Trae Young, 9-6 on Fanduel, 10-3 on DraftKings. Charlotte is 7th against opposing point guards, a 49, a 40, and a 32 in his last 3 against Charlotte. He doesn't have these massive games against Charlotte yet, but we know he can instantly go off for 70. I like Trae Young an awful lot tonight. Kyle Lowry, of course. Now Toronto is on a back-to-back, so as things in the East start to clear up, these teams who are clinch the playoffs, are going to be in the playoffs. You might see them start resting some of their older players, so it's something to keep an eye on. But I do like Kyle Lowry. Utah 18th against opposing point guards. They are playing in Salt Lake City. It's a tougher place to play. He did put up a 44 his last time out against Utah, so there is that. But Kyle Lowry, of course, it's only a 3-game slate. Now, I expect Trae Young to be real popular, so doing some things like going mid-tier pricing at point guard and then paying up at center, maybe for Jokic, etc., could be a way you can go. You want to try to be different, and you want to try to leave salary on the table if you're playing tournaments. If you use all your salary, that's what 80 to 90% of all players, especially casual players, do. They use all their salary. So just leaving a few hundred on the table really sets you apart from everyone else. It's a smart strategy to do in tournaments, leaving salary on the table, trying to do something different. Jamal Murray against Milwaukee. We know there's no Giannis for Milwaukee. Milwaukee is still 5th against opposing point guards. He has a 38 and a 26 and a 41 and a 47 in his last 4. He's 6'6" on Fanduel, 7K on DraftKings. I like Jamal Murray quite a bit. Eric Bledsoe, of course. Now it's a back-to-back for Milwaukee as well. Milwaukee and Toronto are both on a back-to-back. Thank you, NBA, for that. Milwaukee is basically locked into the number 1 seed in the East, so it bears watching if they're going to, especially now they're seeing the injury to Giannis. Maybe it freaks them out a little bit and they hold some of their players back. He did play 34 minutes yesterday, put up a 42. Middleton played 35 minutes or so, put up a 43. So keep an eye on those guys, but without Giannis, those two instantly become locks for me. In his last 5 against Denver, a 31, a 42, a 37, a 50, and a 55. I like Eric Bledsoe. Denver's 13th against opposing point guards. Terry Rozier could be an under-owned guy with some upside. Now, he does have a scary floor. Just look at his last 5 against Atlanta. A 19, an 11, then a 37. That's Terry Rozier. But he's 5'9" on FanDuel, 6'6" on DraftKings. It's a paced-up game for Charlotte. Big time. Atlanta, one of the faster teams, while Charlotte's one of the slower teams. Atlanta's 24th against opposing point guards. I do like Terry Rozier. A little bit of interest in Mike Conley. Not as much. I prefer Rozier right now over Conley. He's 5'6" and 5'3". He does have a 29 and a 47 in 2 of his last 3 against Toronto. Then if you're looking for some value, it's going to be tough, especially if Jeff Teague misses. Guys like Monty Morris could be a sneaky value guy. He's at 3'8". If Jeff Teague misses and you want to get real crazy with it, you could see some extra minutes for a guy like Brandon Goodwin. Again, that's trying to be super contrarian in tournaments there. Let's go to shooting guards. So, at shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell's at the top, 7-2 on FanDuel, 7-5 on DraftKings. Toronto is 20th against opposing shooting guards. Thought I had a new news update right there, but we do not. 26 and a 31 in his last couple of games against Toronto. Toronto is on a back-to-back. Probably no Fred VanVleet again for Toronto. We have to keep an eye on that as well. Of course, we'll have exposure. Everyone will to Donovan Mitchell. Right below that, we just talked about Middleton. Now, Denver is 4th against opposing shooting guards. Gary Harris is a terrific defender on the perimeter. It's a back-to-back for Milwaukee, a 37 and a 34 in his last couple of games. Against Denver, again, no Giannis means big-time extra usage. Look at his usage rate yesterday without Giannis. In 35 minutes, he had a 42% usage rate. Yeah, you'll take that any day of the week. Of course, Chris Middleton's in play. Devontae Graham against Atlanta. 6-1 on FanDuel, 6-4 on DraftKings. Atlanta, 24th against shooting guards. A 36 his last game out against Atlanta. Both he and Rozier, I think, are priced right, and you want to be contrarian, maybe play them both in the same lineup, try something different. I'm not opposed to that in tournaments either. Norman Powell has been absolutely red hot. 5-5 on FanDuel is way too cheap. Way too cheap. Now 6-8 on DraftKings is starting to push it. But with VanVleet out, he's come back from that injury. Norman Powell missed a little bit of time. Look at his last 3 games. A 40, a 50, and a 49 went off yesterday in 42 minutes. You worry about the back-to-back and that many minutes played the day before. So it's certainly something to keep an eye on. Utah is 5th against opposing shooting guards. A 38 and a 25 in his last couple of games versus them. Kevin Huerter has been good to me. He's been really good to me lately. Title of? Well, maybe not. 5K and 5'8". Charlotte 19th against opposing shooting guards. A 29 and a 24 his last couple of games. Then we get to some value guys. Guys like Cody Martin, Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson's price went way down. Probably my favorite value today is Jordan Clarkson. 4-5 on FanDuel, 4-2 on DraftKings. Now, when I say that and I play Jordan Clarkson, he usually shits the bed. He's been doing that since he was a Laker behind D'Angelo Russell. So he can kind of off, but he's got upside and that price is super low. Cody Martin at 4.7 and 4.5. Atlanta is 28th against small forward shooting guards. Cody Martin's an interesting play as well. Dante DiVincenzo at 4.2 on FanDuel, 4.8 on DraftKings. Now, Denver's second against small forwards, shooting guards. I think they're second against shooting guards, fourth against small forwards. Let me get that right. So for the Chris Middleton thing, he's going to play 25 plus minutes. He put up a 36 in 28 minutes yesterday. And one of the banes of my existence, fucking Gary Harris. Of course, the last 3 games he's gone for 30. Of course he has. Now, he could easily go out and put up a 6 in 30 minutes. He easily could. He's got a lot of Tony Snell qualities, but you got to consider him at 4.1 and 4.4. 24 and 27 his last couple of games against Milwaukee. And there's just really no one else down here. If they do some resting, I mean, like Patrick McCaw can play minutes. I wouldn't play him anyways. They could tell me he's going to play 100 minutes for free, and I wouldn't play Patrick McCaw. If they rest Kyle Lowry, a guy like Terrence Davis, again, that's way deep down tournament dart throws. Let's go to small forwards. Siakam, 7.9 on FanDuel, 8.7 on DraftKings. Utah is 5th against small forwards, power forwards. He's got a 51 and a 41 his last 2 games against Utah. The game is on the road. It is a back-to-back. It's a tough scenario, but of course, without Giannis, he becomes the best player at the position, and he's got big-time upside. Then it's a big drop-off to Bojan Bogdanovic, 5.8 on FanDuel, 5.5 on DraftKings. Toronto, 18th against opposing small forwards. He has a 22, a 27, and a 42 in his last 3 against Toronto. Put up a 38 the other day in 34 minutes. Then the game before that, he put up a 9. And that's kind of the issue, right? But I'll certainly have some exposure. One of my favorite plays today, Miles Bridges. 5.7 on FanDuel, 5.5 on DraftKings. Atlanta allows the second most fantasy points in the league to opposing small forwards. A 28 his last time out against Atlanta. I like Miles Bridges quite a bit tonight. Will Barton, without having to deal with that Giannis defense, yes, sir, put up a 44, or ma'am, yes, sir, or ma'am, we're equal opportunity here. Put up a 44 his last time out against Milwaukee. He's 5.3 on FanDuel, 6K on DraftKings. Milwaukee, 15th against small forwards. No Giannis. I like Will Barton quite a bit tonight. We'll have to see what happens with Toronto here. If Marc Gasol, who just made his return yesterday after being gone forever, played like 16 minutes yesterday, wouldn't shock me if they rest him tonight. If they do, then OG Anunoby, I do like him. Now look, in 38 minutes yesterday, he put up a 15. Then 3 games ago, he put up a 66. He's a frustrating guy. The 5.2 I'll take a shot on FanDuel. The 6.2 on DraftKings, I will pass. We have to keep an eye out on the injury situation with DeAndre Hunter. He and Cam Reddish, it seems like, are always fucking injured. But there's some tournament upside for both of them. Joe Ingles at home at 4.2 on FanDuel. 5.1 on DraftKings coming off the bench. He can go for 34 like he did the game before, or he can go for a 16 like he did in his last game. It's just a wide range of outcomes, but I will certainly have exposure to him in tournaments, especially on FanDuel at 4.2. Maybe not so much at 5.1 on DraftKings. And that's it. I mean, that's it there. Oof. It's going to be, leaving salary on the table is going to be important because there's basically the paths to the optimal lineups are pretty similar. So you're going to see a lot of ties, in my opinion. Power forward, John Collins, of course. Any interior player against Charlotte. Charlotte struggles terribly defensively. Now they've been restarting Cody Zeller. You never know. They could go back to Biyombo. They could go Guillermo Hernan-Gomez. Charlotte's going to be all over the place. They're a very, very frustrating team this year. But Charlotte, 18th against power forwards. Only a 29 and a 27 his last couple against Charlotte. But he's got a 48 and a 50 in his last couple of games overall. I like John Collins quite a bit. Serge Ibaka, still probably going to start, even if Marc Gasol plays. He's 5'7 and 5'9. Now, Utah is tough inside, 5th against power forward centers. He'll have that Rudy Gobert matchup, which is never easy. 22, a 28, and a 23 his last 3 against Utah. But again, if Marc Gasol rests, even if he plays, he's still going to see 30-plus minutes. You just worry about the back-to-back. Guys like Chris Boucher and Rondae Hollis-Jefferson could see a few more minutes today in a back-to-back scenario. My favorite power forward of the day, PJ Washington, 5'2 on FanDuel, 5'6 on DraftKings. Atlanta, 28th against opposing power forwards, allowing the 3rd most fantasy points in the league to them. He put up a 42 his last game out against Atlanta. I like PJ Washington quite a bit. Paul Millsap's real hit or miss. He is back in the starting lineup, but he's still only playing low to mid-20s. He does have some success against Milwaukee, however. His last three, a 27, a 50, and a 51. No Giannis there. It could be a sneaky play. Milwaukee 15th against opposing power forwards. And there is a couple of value guys that I will consider in this spot. Jeremy Grant off the bench is still playing about the same minutes as Paul Millsap. They're essentially splitting those minutes. Look at his last three against Milwaukee. A 39, a 36, and a 43. Now, obviously, those were in starting roles, but he can come off the bench and get you 25 or 30 at 3-7 and 4-3. I think Jeremy Grant's an excellent value play. And even though I think he's a dog shit fantasy player and dog shit player overall, Royce O'Neal is going to see 30 minutes. That's just how it is. Whether he starts or not, it doesn't matter. He's going to see 30 minutes. He can go out and get you a 25 or a 30. He can also get you an 11. But he's 3-7 on Fanduel, 4K on DraftKings. Toronto 18th against power forwards. He does have a couple of 20s in his last three against Toronto, a 20, and then he has a 5, and then he has a 23. So tournament play only, but I could go there. Ersan Ilyasova did start for Milwaukee. He only played 15 minutes. Probably won't go there. A guy like Marvin Williams could be sort of interesting with Giannis out. He could be an interesting low-owned tournament boomer bust type option. Let's go to centers. Of course, Jokic. Now, Milwaukee has been better this year against centers. 9th in the league against opposing centers. It's because oftentimes Giannis will defend the center position. Brook Lopez, what he does, though, is he pulls these centers out from inside, so it's hard to get rebounds against him. That's why you look at his last three against Milwaukee, a 41, a 34, and a 39. It's not great because of the way Brook Lopez plays out on the perimeter, affecting his rebounding numbers. That's why guys like Millsap and Grant have an opportunity to get more rebounds, etc., because they'll be the ones inside. But I do like Jokic at 9-7 and 9-5. You just got to have exposure to him in this type of slate with only 3 games. Rudy Gobert against Toronto, who is 2nd in the league against opposing centers. Now, remember, Marc Gasol is not, if he does play, will not play a ton of minutes. So he'll have Serge Ibaka, Boucher, Hollis Jefferson. It should be an easy matchup for Gobert at home. 8-4 on FanDuel, 7-9 on DraftKings. Probably my favorite center of the day. Brook Lopez, not bad against Jokic in his last 5. A couple games in the 40s, 3 games in the 20s. He's 5-1 on both sides. So he's got some 40-point upside. No Giannis means extra offensive opportunities for him as well. Denver is 10th against opposing centers. Dwayne Dedmon is back for Atlanta. Charlotte allows the most fantasy points in the league to opposing centers. He's 4-7 on FanDuel, 4-1 on DraftKings. Dwayne Dedmon could be an interesting play tonight. He'll still only see about 20 minutes. Then you have Cody Zeller. As long as he remains in the starting lineup, Atlanta allows the 3rd most fantasy points in the league to opposing centers. A 31, a 30, and a 27, and a 30 in his last 4 against Atlanta. Little underpriced for Cody Zeller. You just hope that he remains in the starting lineup. If you're looking for some value contrarian plays, like Boucher played 0 minutes yesterday. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on. But Guillermo Hernan-Gomez, they've still been making him the number 2 center. So if Biyombo starts, he'll play, and then Hernan-Gomez comes off the bench. If Zeller starts, then he'll play, and Hernan-Gomez comes off the bench. So you just got to keep an eye on that starting lineup. But Hernan-Gomez at 4K, he's been playing in the high teens, low 20s, and he's been putting up, his last 4 games, 37, 20, 21, 17. Does have a 29 a few games back against Atlanta. He could be some interesting value, as could Mason Plumlee. He'll play 15 to 20 minutes, and he can occasionally get you. He has a game 2 games ago where he had a 29, the rest of those games in the teens. So it's a GPP dart throw only. So that's our look at each position. Again, you can get access to all the research, the tools, the mass lineup generator, set your exposures, hit percentage, DVPs, etc., as well as my player pool for all the sports, including hockey, tonight by clicking that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. For you Draft Dashboard users or those who are trying it, if you wish to find my player pool, it's important to use that link first of all. You have to use that link. And when you do, you'll click on your Watch Players tab, and my Watch Players will evolve throughout the day as we get news, etc. Click on that. Then you'll see a blue box at the top. It says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks. You click that, it'll highlight my Watch Players. You can compare my Watch player list to yours, etc. You can use my player pool on the lineup optimizer or the generator. Use your own, however you wish to do it. So let's make a sample lineup here early in the morning on each site. So here on FanDuel, it gave us Rozier, Lowry, Devontae Graham, Huter, Siakam, Will Barton, John Collins, Jeremy Grant, Jokic. I think that's a real solid lineup. It leaves 500 on the table. I think it's certainly playable this early in the morning. Let's go over to DraftKings. DraftKings gave us Clarkson, Rozier, Huter, Bogdanovich, Zeller, Kyle Lowry, Will Barton, and Donovan Mitchell. It's an awful lot of Utah perimeter players, but I'm not opposed to it. There's lots of ways you can go. That still leaves 500 on the table as well. Like if you want to come down from Kyle Lowry to Norman Powell at 6'8", Eric Bledsoe. Like I want tons of Eric Bledsoe. I also want tons of Chris Middleton. Right? Now we can pay up at center as well. We can go to a PJ. I like that. That leaves 700 on the table. Clarkson, Rozier, Middleton, Bogdanovich, PJ Washington, Bledsoe, Will Barton, Donovan Mitchell. Also don't mind going to Miles Bridges right there, whom I like quite a bit tonight. Could put him here, and then we can upgrade Jordan Clarkson. So you can make some nice lineups tonight. You can go to Mike Conley. Just go to the starter. Lots of ways you can go. Click the link. Try it for 30 days for $1. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Be part of our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. Check out Overlay DFS. Check out Fantasy Draft. Cheers to you all. I appreciate the shit out of all of you. Thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you tomorrow with all of our NBA videos. Our Fantasy Draft NBA video is already up as well. May the fantasy gods be with you all tonight. Good luck and goodbye, folks.